By the time the string lights flicked on, I had already learned how much a lie can cost. I was wearing black slacks, carrying a tray of water glasses, and no one noticed me, which is exactly how the truth got careless. The ballroom smelled like citrus polish and champagne yeast, all brightness and money. A biotech charity gala, black tie, silverware with monograms, the kind of place where people say impact the way other people say amen. I stepped in through the service door because the front had a velvet rope and a man who looked at my badge upside down. "Staff entrance," he said, chin lifting toward the back hall. I nodded because the badge was upside down, on purpose. A woman with lacquered hair and a clipboard thrust a tray into my hands. "Water on the floor and smile, don't hover." I smiled. I hovered. No one asked my name. No one wondered why my shoes were sensible, or why my eyes kept drifting to exits, cameras, the dais. I was invisible, and the insult came packaged as convenience. I'm a compliance auditor, not the kind who sends polite memos, the kind who reads footnotes like confessions and knows where to stand when people think they're alone. Tonight, I was supposed to attend openly. I'd been invited by the board as an independent reviewer, an expensive one, because rumors had begun to hiss around this company's upcoming IPO. But when the insult landed, clean and thoughtless, I chose not to correct it. In my pocket, my phone hummed once, the internal timer I use when I'm working. I turned it face down and decided to let the room show me who it was when it thought no one important was listening. The first conversation came easy. It always does. Two men leaned against a linen-draped table near the back, collars loosened, voices dropping with the music. I refilled their water. They didn't look at my face. "Regulators won't catch it," one said, tapping ice with a fingernail. "The audit trail's clean." The other laughed. "Clean because we cleaned it. The adverse events got recoded. It's all within tolerance now." I paused a half-second too long. The ice chimed. "What's the downside?" the first asked. "Downside is someone panics, or a nurse talks, or a site coordinator saves the wrong email." He shrugged. "But we locked the servers." Locked the servers. My phone vibrated again as I hit record with my thumb, audio only, screen dark. The bass from the speakers tried to swallow their words, but my microphone has eaten worse. They drifted away, leaving condensation rings like halos. The second conversation hurt more because it was colder. I was stationed near the restrooms, refilling a carafe that smelled faintly of lemon rind. A woman in a jewel-toned gown cornered a younger man whose tie was knotted too tight. She spoke with the confidence of someone who had never been told no. "Your site flagged another protocol deviation," she said, again. "It's not a deviation," he whispered. "It's patients are having reactions we didn't see in phase 2. She smiled, small and lethal. "You saw what we paid you to see. That's not. If you want to keep your lab funded," she said, still smiling, "you'll file the amended report I sent. Tonight." She touched his arm as if this were kindness. He nodded like a metronome. I topped off their glasses. The lemon oil burns my fingers. When she left, the young man stared into the sink like it might answer him. The third conversation made the room tilt. I was near the stage stairs when the CEO, tall, impeccable, voice like a metronome, ducked behind the curtain with two board members. The band was warming up, cymbals whispering. "We can't delay, the window's perfect." "What about the incident at Site 7? One board member asked. The CEO's voice didn't change. "We paid the family. We documented it as unrelated." "It was cardiac," the other said. "So is breathing. Everything is cardiac if you squint." I steadied the tray as a waiter brushed past. My phone recorded from my apron pocket. a black hole of quiet catching their words. Compliance? The first board member asked. The CEO snorted. Compliance audits paper, not intent. I exhaled through my nose and tasted citrus and something bitterer. The cruelty arrived loud, public, and unnecessary. A janitor, older, hands knotted from work, had paused near the edge of the ballroom, mop bucket beside him. Someone had spilled red wine. He was doing his job. A donor in a tuxedo barked, "Watch it!" as the janitor's wheel clipped a chair leg. The janitor apologized. He bent to blot the carpet. "Not here," the donor snapped. "You people always do this in the middle." The room laughed. A ripple, a release. The janitor's shoulders folded inward, as if the laughter had weight. Something in me locked. I have seen spreadsheets that killed people quietly. I have watched careers end in a sentence. But the way that laughter landed on a man who'd done nothing wrong, that was my line. I slid the tray onto a service table and stopped smiling. In the back hall, the air smelled like coffee and bleach. I ducked into the coat room and pulled my phone free. 3 recordings. Clean enough. Not enough. I needed receipts. The company had set up a quiet room for VIP calls, glass walls frosted at eye level, badge access logged. I waited for the CEO to leave it empty, then slipped in while the music swelled. I plugged my phone into the charging cable on the desk and let it sink, mirroring the room's tablet to my screen. Sloppy. They'd left an email thread open, subject line bland as wallpaper. I took photos, careful of reflections, red-lined tables, a column hidden, adverse events recoded, a board member's reply, make it fit, a compliance officer CC'd and silent. I photographed the access log on the wall, timestamps, badge IDs. I dictated an audio note, whispering names, times, smells, because memory is a liar under pressure. As I left, a hand caught my elbow. "Staff can't be in here," the lacquered-haired woman said. I met her eyes for the first time. "You're right," I said. "They can't." I walked past her, heart a drum, and slipped my phone back into my pocket like a weapon with the safety off. The CEO took the stage. Applause like rain on glass. The screens lit with the company logo, all clean curves and promise. "And now," he said, "before we toast to innovation," I stepped into the aisle. "And we have a question," I said, projecting my voice the way courtrooms teach you to do. The room murmured. Security shifted. "My name is Amanda Hurt. I'm the independent compliance auditor your board retained." The CEO's smile tightened. "This isn't—" I lifted my phone. I recorded 3 conversations tonight. 1 about recoding adverse events. 1 about coercing a research site to amend reports. 1 about paying off a family and misclassifying a cardiac incident. The screens flickered. I'd emailed the files to the event tech minutes earlier from the quiet room, labeling them as presentation addendum. They didn't question it. They never do when a woman looks like she belongs. Audio played. The CEO's voice, calm and damning. The jewel gown woman's smile turned brittle on screen as her words echoed back at her. "This is illegal," someone said, loud and thin. "Yes, it is." I tapped again. Email screenshots bloomed. Red lines, timestamps, the phrase "make it fit," underlined like a confession. Access logs followed. Names, dates, patterns. I have submitted these materials to the regulators, tonight, along with a sworn affidavit. Silence is a sound. It rang. Security froze. Cameras flashed. The CEO opened his mouth and closed it again, like a man realizing the floor has learned how to move. Board members whispered. A donor stood, then sat. "I recommend you suspend this roadshow," I said. because tone matters. And I recommend the compliance officer resign. The janitor was still at the edge of the room, mop idle. Our eyes met. I nodded. He nodded back. Small. Human. The gala ended early. That's what the papers said the next day. They didn't say how quickly the music stopped, or how the champagne went warm in untouched flutes. Investigations take time. Consequences follow processes. But power shifts instantly when lies lose their audience. I left through the front door. In rooms like that, people confuse invisibility with insignificance. They forget that listening is a position of power. What would you have done? Spoken up sooner or stayed quiet to gather the truth?